58 years, 29 major tournaments, and 14 European Championships later, the question still remains, is football finally coming home? Nobody can deny England have had their chances in recent years, most notably reaching the semi-finals of the 2018 World Cup, as well as the agonising penalty shootout defeat on home turf to Italy in the final of Euro 2020, both of which saw England in the later stages of major tournaments for the first time this century. But are they once again being set up as failures? Especially when considering the star-studded squad that Gareth Southgate has at his disposal. This generation's stars, however, are now entering their peak at this summer's European Championship in Germany, as some of the more experienced players currently at the heart of the team, such as Harry Kane, Jordan Pickford, Kyle Walker and John Stones, will be well into their 30s by the time of the next World Cup. So, can England go one step further this year and finally win it? With that said, today we'll be taking a look at England's chances of European triumph, as well as recalling the failures of the past few decades. So, let's get into it. As the tournament approached, many England fans believing in their team's chances of success posted the Three Lions starting 11 with the caption, "What is stopping this England squad from winning the Euros?" Our example may be a little extravagant, but England have an incredible amount of talent in their squad at this moment, with at least 15 players who are not only world-class, but considered amongst the best in their position on the planet. England boast the current La Liga Player of the Year, Jude Bellingham, the current Bundesliga Player of the Year in Harry Kane, and the current Premier League Player of the Year, Phil Foden, with Foden and Bellingham the two current favourites to win the 2024 Ballon d'Or. And it's these stars who are sure to play a major role in the Euros who find themselves in the best form of their careers. Phil Foden finished the campaign with 39 goal contributions and won the Premier League Player of the Season award. Harry Kane, meanwhile, scored over 40 goals in a single season for the first time in his career, finishing his debut year at Bayern Munich with 44 goals and 12 assists. And Jude Bellingham, well, is there any point in even mentioning how influential this kid is? I mean, he's not even 21 yet. The Real Madrid superstar delivered in games he could only have dreamed of 3 years ago, when he was still at Birmingham City, notching 3 goals and an assist against Barcelona, 2 goals and 2 assists against Napoli, and playing a key role in his team's goal at the Etihad against Manchester City, with the icing on the cake, the assist for Vinicius Jr.'s Champions League goal to seal his first European title at the age of just 20. Of course, we can't help but mention 2 other players who, like Kane and Bellingham, have performed amazingly well in their debuts for their new clubs. We are of course talking about Cole Palmer and Declan Rice, with the latter cementing his reputation as one of the best defensive midfielders in the world and justifying the eye-watering €120 million Arsenal paid West Ham for his services. Palmer, on the other hand, has moved to Chelsea from Manchester City, and unlike what we have seen over the last 2 seasons, where the Blues' new signings have failed miserably, Palmer is definitely a breath of fresh air. He finished the season with a staggering 40 goal involvements in all competitions, which is very impressive, especially when we're talking about an attacking midfielder in this poor Chelsea team. Palmer immediately stepped into the role of the talisman Chelsea were looking for, but still finished second in the assist table behind Ollie Watkins. Yes, the Aston Villa man was another man who enjoyed his best season in 2023-24. Scoring 19 goals and assisting 13 to help his side to a historic Champions League qualification spot. Yes, as we've seen, all of the players on this list will be at the peak of their form at Euro 2024, which will certainly raise the hopes of those who want to see them lift the trophy on the 14th of July. It goes without saying though that it's going to be a tough task. So before we dive into the analysis and possible scenarios for England's progress, let's take a look at their historical performance at the European Championships so far. But first things first, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on anything from our future uploads. As mentioned above, in theory, Euro 2020 was a huge step forward for Southgate and this England team. But let's be realistic. If anyone had said before the tournament that the Three Lions would reach the final, few would have argued that it wouldn't have been a success. On the other hand, when you consider the circumstances of those Euros, such as playing most of the tournament at home for example, and the final in particular, it is a nightmare just to think about the game against Italy. Taking an early lead, then being in total control of the game and having the whole crowd behind you in the penalty shootouts. And all that in the best place you could possibly imagine, Wembley Stadium. And okay, even if we say the last 3 major tournaments have been a positive move for England, we can't help but notice a major pattern. The Three Lions are great against the underdogs, but when it comes to proper competition, England always, and we repeat, always fail. Let's turn back the clock just 6 years. The 2018 World Cup. Wins over Tunisia and Panama in the group stage, then lost to Belgium. In the knockout rounds, wins over Colombia and Sweden, then lost to Croatia in the semi-finals. And finally, another one, again to Belgium in the 3rd place playoff. And in Euro 2020, almost perfect in the group stage, picking up 7 out of 9 points against Croatia, Scotland and the Czech Republic. Yes, England technically held their own against the likes of Modric, Vardiol and Kovacic, but Croatia were not that Croatia of 3 years prior. Then, in the knockout stages, England beat sleeping giants Germany, who were at their lowest point in recent history, as well as Ukraine and Denmark. And then we all know what happened in the final against Italy. And then the 2022 World Cup came. Again, 7 out of 9 points in a relatively easy group of Iran, USA and Wales. However, when it came to the knockout stages, the Three Lions showed how it's done against Senegal, but then lost 2-1 to France in the quarter-finals, when Harry Kane missed a late penalty to equalise while England were on top. So England will need to raise their game against the best teams in the world if they are to have a chance at triumphing in Germany. They can certainly take a leaf out of Italy's book, who won all their games at the last European Championship, beating Belgium and Spain on their way to the title before that decisive match at Wembley. But let's talk about the most likely sequence of England's potential rivals, at least until the quarter-final stage. Yes, it's impossible to predict what will happen, but we'll give you our views based on the team's current form and their experience of similar tournaments. Of course, it would be foolish to talk about England winning the tournament without them finishing top of their group, with Denmark, Serbia and Slovenia. Interestingly, only one of these 4 teams has won a European title, and that's Denmark in 1992. However, we feel it's unlikely that the Danes will cause the Three Lions the kind of problems that they did just 3 years ago, when they took an early lead in their semi-final clash. So let's assume that England will finish top of Group C. This would result in them being paired with the 3rd place teams from either Group D, E or F in the round of 16. Meaning their most likely opponents will either be Austria or Poland from Group D, with France and the Netherlands likely to secure 1st and 2nd in that group, Ukraine, Slovakia or Romania from Group E, or the Czech Republic, Turkey or Georgia from Group F. So yes, these are a number of possible options for England. And the implication is that barring a total sensation in which, say, France or Portugal finish 3rd, the Three Lions would certainly have a favourable opponent in the round of 16. And with 4 games to go before the big battle begins, Gareth Southgate will have plenty of time to build his squad and find the perfect rhythm to take on the best teams in Europe. And of course, another topic of interest is how England's strongest unit, the midfield, compares with those of other top European contenders. On paper, the Three Lions appear to have the best talent in the middle of the park, with Southgate having the luxury of fielding incredible and proven players in Foden, Rice and Bellingham. Add to this the exciting prospect of Cole Palmer and the new sensation Kobbie Mainoo into the equation, and England have the potential to be a real deal in terms of creativity, dynamism and defensive solidity in midfield. But what about the competition? When we talk about excellence in midfield, Spain are always in the conversation. Yes, the glory days of Xavi, Iniesta and Busquets are long gone. But even now, La Roja have incredible players in Rodri and Pedri, one being arguably the best defensive midfielder in the game, and the other a delightful creator with an uncanny flair and an incredible resemblance to Iniesta. However, the Spanish are still unsure as to who will be the third player in the midfield, in the unfortunate absence of long-term injured Gavi. On the face of things, it would appear to be PSG's Fabian Ruiz, a versatile player who can provide both stability and creativity. The interesting thing about Germany is that they also have incredible young talent in Jamal Musiala and Florian Wirtz, as well as the experience of Toni Kroos and Ilkay Gundogan. Of course, coach Julian Nagelsmann could deploy all four at the same time, with both Musiala and Wirtz also capable of playing out wide. Another of England's major rivals for the title are France, who are the bookmakers' favourite to win it all. Now, on paper, their midfield may look a little shaky. Of course, we all know that the secret to France's success in recent years has been an attack. But their midfield may not command the same respect as those of Spain, England and Germany. However, we feel it could be severely underrated, boasting proven winners in Aurelien Tchouameni and Eduardo Camavinga, who know the game brilliantly and have played together at Real Madrid, alongside the experience and winning mentality of N'Golo Kante and Adrien Rabiot. You could say that they're well set to dominate the midfield battle, or you could say it looks very similar in terms of style. As we said, this in no way diminishes France's potential, especially as coach Didier Deschamps has called up as many as 6 wingers, indirectly hinting at what the finalists of the previous 2 World Cups will be relying on most. It's all very uplifting and positive news for England fans, but let's be clear, what happens on paper is often very different to what happens in reality. Between 2002 and 2010, England had arguably their strongest squad in history, with the famous golden generation of Frank Lampard, Paul Scholes, Steven Gerrard, Michael Owen, Wayne Rooney and of course, David Beckham. Yet, despite this, they didn't even reach the semi-finals, let alone challenge for major honours in a final, with fitting them all into a coherent tactical setup proving impossible. So, will Gareth Southgate face this same issue with Bellingham, Foden, Palmer and the like? Now it's time for you guys to have your say. What do you think about Southgate's decision to leave out the experienced James Maddison and Jack Grealish in favour of Adam Wharton, for example, who has around 28 minutes of international football under his belts? Or what about the decision to take the error-prone Lewis Dunk? Is this England's year? Is football finally going to come home? Let us know what you think of England's chances in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and check out our latest uploads. With that said, thanks for sticking around until the end, and we'll catch you in the next one.